Nizzy, and in this video, you guys, we're going to be giving you a Toronto Raptors free agency update. Obviously, there's been a bunch of moves this week. Haven't really had a lot of time to get a video out to you guys, so we're going to couple a bunch of things together in this video. Real quick before we get started, you guys, if you could go ahead and like this video, smash that subscribe button if you like sporty news like this. I'm going to keep coming out with as much videos as possible on the weekends here. I'm a little busy throughout the weekdays now with a full-time job. But we're going to keep pumping out those videos as much as possible. You guys really appreciate all the support and you taking the time to watch the videos on my channel. And without further ado, you guys, let's get into it here. So obviously the first giant news, I mean, this is fucking big time news for us Raptors fans, you guys. Came out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that Masai will be staying with the Toronto Raptors for the foreseeable future here. Now this is an absolute stud of a pickup for us. Easily the best executive in the NBA today. What he's been able to do with this Toronto Raptors franchise is just incredible, man. You think back to when Masai first came in, we were nothing in this league. You know, we were struggling. We'd barely made playoffs before. Hadn't really had any deep runs in the playoffs before. And he just proceeded to build and build and build and bring in the right pieces, you know, to create the franchise of what it is today. Just a hard-nosed, gritty, fighting, heart and soul, effort type defensive style of organization, man. I mean, everything Masai has done has just helped this organization succeed and flourish. Super happy he's decided to stick around, man. I mean, he is the definition of what it means to be a hard-working Canadian. Just does everything he can to lead his team in the right direction. Phenomenal executive. Phenomenal human being. Some of the things he's been doing overseas with his Giants of Africa, helping all those kids trying to realize their dreams over there. Just giving back with all of his charity organizations and everything like that. This is an absolute must. I know all of us Raptors fans were, you know, a little bit in panic mode over the last year or so just because there's so many rumors that he was going to leave. Obviously, that U.S. media always thinks that everyone's going to leave Toronto because they just don't think that people want to stay here. But I think that narrative is definitely changing. I think Canada and Toronto are a place people want to be now. And I think the Raptors are an organization that younger up-and-coming players who have potential to be stars in this league want to play for us. Obviously, with the acquiring Scotty Barnes in the draft, he really wanted to come to Toronto. You're seeing some other young players really want to come to Toronto. Gary Trent Jr. just signed an extension with us. Khem Birch wants to stick around, obviously. He signed an extension as well. No surprise there, being a Canadian-born talent. So yeah, you guys, I think Toronto's definitely becoming a destination people want to play. Obviously, with their developmental program as well that Masai has put in place over the last decade or so. It's just phenomenal, man. We can build up any player we want to build. You know, we can acquire a guy who doesn't have, you know, all the skill sets yet, but we can build those skill sets within his game, make him the best version of himself. You know, it's all credit to, you know, the program and the staff that Masai and Bobby Webster have been able to put together over the years. Obviously, having key contributors like Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, some big-time guys over the years that have really stepped up and paved the way for what's to come in the future for the Raptors organization and kind of set that standard for what it is to be a Toronto Raptor and to have that heart and soul effort every single play in every single game. So super stoked, you guys. That's the first big bit of news there. Masai Ujiri is back with Toronto. I don't have the details on the contract. I don't know if those have came out yet. Just on how many years, how much money he's going to be making, but he is here for the foreseeable future, you guys, so that's a phenomenal pickup for us. This, you know, relieves a little bit of weight off those shoulders for us Raptors fans out there, man. We really wanted Masai back, and we got him. He's here to stay, you guys, so that's phenomenal. Obviously, the second big news is after not being able to acquire a big-time center throughout free agency, we go ahead and re-sign Khem Birch to a 3-year deal worth $20 million. Just shy of that $7 million per season range, so a very team-friendly deal, I would say. You know, he didn't try and break our bank. He just took a reasonable amount of money, and I think he's definitely a formidable center for what we're trying to do. He's obviously not a 7-footer or anything like that, but you can tell just the way that we drafted guys, some of the free agents that we picked up here during the free agency period that's still ongoing. You know, we're just building for length, athleticism, and switchability on the defensive end of the floor. Khem Birch fits in with that. Obviously, he can switch a few positions. He's got that versatility on defense. He's actually a pretty good passer as a big. Can hit those corner threes for you at a pretty nice clip as well. So he's, you know, got a couple little tools to his game there that I think are going to be assets to the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, bringing in Scotty Barnes and guys like that as well, you can tell where this organization is headed, and they're just looking for, basically want to have 1 through 5 being able to switch. Obviously, we got a couple small guards still, but these guys are just scrappy, absolute dogs. They have that Kyle Lowry mentality. Fred VanVleet and Malachi Flynn are just both spitting images of Kyle Lowry, basically, who's just an outstanding talent. Gonna miss that guy, but at least he's been able to train up these young guns here over the last few years. And I think Fred VanVleet and Malachi Flynn are going to be ready to take on that next step to be able to fill the role of Kyle Lowry there. So super excited to see the future of this team, you guys. Obviously, that sign and trade for Kyle to Miami is official now. So in return, as we thought, we are getting the big center there, Precious Achiuwa, as well as Goran Dragic. I think Achua's a phenomenal pickup for us. There's actually a report that came out, you guys, that Masai turned down Tyler Hero to get Precious Achiuwa instead. Personally, I think that's a good decision on our part. Masai usually is calculated with his decisions, so obviously he knew something that all of us didn't. Because in the media, everyone's saying Hero's better. Miami didn't want to release him. Miami didn't want to let him go. But to be honest, you guys, Tyler Hero had a terrible season last year. He was not the same player as he was in the bubble. Didn't seem as focused, didn't seem as locked in, didn't seem like he was working as hard. I think Jimmy Butler was a little bit annoyed with him last year as well. And I just think a lot of teams got turned off of him. I honestly don't think, for what Miami wanted for him, I just don't think a lot of teams wanted to give up what Miami was asking, because he really didn't have a great season last year. And that work ethic and stuff kind of went down a little bit from his bubble performance. So we'll see if Tyler Hero has a bounce back year this year, but Precious Achiuwa brings the energy and the hustle and the effort on every single play while he's out on the floor. He can block shots for you. He can be a rebound machine. He's really good on the offensive glass. He loves getting putbacks. Lob City can be introduced here, man, because this guy can frickin' lob down anything. He's just so energetic out there on the floor. He's just an energy, hustle, effort guy. And he's super young too, so he's got a lot of time to develop within our great developmental system. I think he can be a staple within our offense and defense for years to come. I think he's going to be a great addition to the team. Obviously, Goran Dragic, didn't really want this guy. I don't think a lot of us wanted him. But at the end of the day, we are getting a solid veteran presence who can probably come off the bench and be able to be pretty decent for us. You're not going to expect a lot from him, but if he can get double-digit points for you, even if he can average what he averaged last year shooting around, I think he had like 13.4 points per game, 4 assists. If he can give you that off the bench, coming maybe playing that shooting guard role alongside Malachi Flynn with that bench unit, maybe getting 20 minutes a game or something like that, I think he can be a decent veteran presence for that bench unit this coming season, you guys. But there is also the possibility that we do trade him over to Dallas. I know that he requested to go there, obviously, to go and play with his Slovenian brother there, Luka Doncic. So I would not be surprised yet if Masai ends up trading him still before the start of the season. I don't think we're going to get a lot in return. Maybe we'll get like a second rounder or something for him. Maybe get like a low quality point guard or something in return that's a little bit younger, somebody we can develop in our system that wants to be here. But I could see there's a possibility that I could see us keeping Goran Dragic and maybe trading him at the deadline depending on how he's performing. Maybe he fits in really well too, because he is a hard worker. He is a pretty good point guard. He has that leadership quality. He's a veteran, so he's going to have a good veteran presence throughout the locker room. Even though he doesn't want to be with the Raptors, I can't see this guy not showing up and not giving it 110%. I know Jimmy Butler was a big fan of him when he was down in Miami, so if Jimmy Butler's a fan of him, that could tell you how hardworking this guy is, and that he shows up ready to go no matter if he wants to be there or not. So at the end of the day, I think he's going to give it his all for the Raptors, and if we do trade him, I think we'll get something not decent in return, but we'll at least get something for him to be able to continue to build our young roster here. So yeah, I'm super excited about having Precious Achiuwa, you guys. I think he's going to be a phenomenal big man for us alongside Khem, Birch, and Freddie Gillespie. A couple guys that we ended up waiving throughout the week here, you guys. This was a few days ago now, but I just want to touch base on that. We did waive and let go of DeAndre Bembry, Rodney Hood, Paul Watson, and Aaron Baines. So this obviously freed up a bunch of cap space as well as roster spots within that top 15 roster. Personally, I think these were all good decisions by management, man. Bembry had a rough go last year. He had a lot of opportunities with, us dealing with the COVID, all of our guys out with COVID and other injuries. He had a lot of opportunities to step up last year and just was unable to to do that for us. Basically, he turned the ball over at a high clip last year. He was very sloppy as the main ball handler, just, losing his dribble, running down the floor, kind of just full head of steam down the floor, not really thinking about what he wanted to do. And then by the time he gets into the paint, he's in, jumps to the rim, he's in midair, and then hucks the pass for a turnover somewheres because he's got both feet off the ground while he's passing. There's just too many moments like that where I seen from him last year where he was sloppy with his ball handles. Lots of turnovers, and last year was his opportunity, man. He had a lot of opportunities with our team last year, like I said, when we were dealing with so much injury and stuff like that. He just didn't seize the moment as well as he needed to for, to lock in a bottom end roster spot with the Raptors this year, especially with the way we're building our team. We're trying to get more versatile players who can switch multiple positions on the defensive end. He wasn't really one of those guys for us. Obviously, Rodney Hood, same thing, been dealing with a bunch of injuries over the last few years. We got him in that trade when we sent Norm Powell over to Portland for Gary Trent and Rodney Hood. Obviously, Gary Trent was the main piece in that trade. He's already re-signed to a new deal with us for 3 more years. Rodney Hood was just kind of an expendable asset. So no surprise we let him go. I believe he would have been a $10 million cap hit if we kept him, so we'll be able to save a little bit of money there. And obviously he's an older guy who's just been dealing with so much injury. You can't really rely upon him to be a good role player within our system. He probably wouldn't have been able to get a lot of time out there anyways on the court. So, and the same thing with Paul Watson. That's another guy gone. He had that one really rememberable, I don't even know if that's a right word, really good game anyways last year, you guys, where I think he had 30 points or 33 points in one game last year where he looked outstanding, was just banging in all of his 3-point shots. But other than that, same thing. He had a lot of opportunity last year, which he wasn't getting in years prior. He's been with the organization for a few years now and just did not execute at a high level consistently enough. Like I said, he had a couple nice performances there, but just overall did not have that consistency that we needed to see, especially on the defensive end. Just wasn't a great defensive asset to us. So no surprise we let him go. He's been with the organization for a few years now and just has never really gotten that opportunity to step up until last year and just wasn't able to step up consistently for us. And then the last guy we waived, you guys, was Aaron Baines. Really no surprise here. I'm sure all of us knew this one was coming. The guy was an absolute disappointment for us last season. I'm sure he's a great guy, nice guy off the court, but did not produce at any sort of level we expected. We didn't expect nothing crazy from this guy. We were hoping he could be maybe like a 10 to 15 point per game guy with, 6 or 7 boards, couple assists. Not even close to that kind of a talent. He was a liability on both ends of the floor for us. Just wasn't able to get it done for us. It seemed like he got into his own head early in the season as well. Didn't feel like he was really utilized properly by the Raptors, but at the end of the day, he just really didn't perform to the capabilities that we needed from a starting center. So I'm happy we let him go. So yeah, you guys, that's pretty much all the moves that have happened this week so far. Obviously, like I said, Gary Trent's re-signed. We also brought in, I think he's a power forward, Sam Decker, guy who played in the NBA a few years ago and then ended up playing overseas for the last year or two. So he's back in the fold. He shot a really nice clip overseas. I think he was shooting like 44% from the 3-point arc, as well as like 54 or 55% from the field. So I think we just kind of got him in there to stretch the floor a little bit, maybe as that second unit, add a little bit of size and length, as well as he's a 6'9" power forward. So once again, we're just going for that switchability and that versatility with another guy like that. So yeah, you guys, I'm liking the way this roster's looking for the new season. We're going to kind of break down the new Raptors looking roster here, you guys. So at that point guard slot now, we're looking at Fred VanVleet as our starting point. You got Malachi Flynn as the backup. You still got Dragic in there. We'll have to see where Delano Banton fits into that. David Johnson as well, our other second-round pick, is kind of that point guard, shooting guard role. The only true shooting guard we have on the roster right now, you guys, is Gary Trent Jr. But like I said, obviously, like Delano Banton's a 6'9" point guard. He could fit that shooting guard role very nicely. David Johnson as well could fit that shooting guard role. Same with Dragic. So the switchability between the point guard and shooting guard, any of our point guards can play that shooting guard role if we need to. So it's not a huge deal that Gary Trent's only the main shooting guard, which is fine. I think he's going to do outstanding if he gets the opportunity to start for us this year alongside Fred VanVleet in that starting 5. And then you go into that small forward slot, you guys. You got OG and Yuta as your main 2. Both those guys are quality. Small forwards, I think Yuta's a phenomenal backup small forward to OG, just brings that energy coming off the bench. Just a hustle and effort guy. Was really starting to learn how to bang in his shot as well. His 3-point clip was getting a lot better. He's got a lot of nice moves around the rim, can lay the ball in. He's got that ferociousness when he plays, just that hunger to be out there and giving it 110% on every possession. Then over in that power forward slot, you guys, we got some really nice players there. Obviously, Pascal's still the staple power forward in our starting lineup. Now we had go ahead and drafted Scotty Barnes, which could, he could play multiple positions for us as well. That's the nice thing. Even though these guys are slotted in at these certain positions, they could really be playing at a variety of different positions just because of their switchability and versatility out on the floor. And then obviously you got Sam Decker, Chris Boucher as well. So a really nice power forward unit. And then obviously in our center position, we got Freddie Gillespie. Hopefully he makes the team this year, you guys. I really liked what I seen from him last year when we brought him in at the end of the season there. I thought he just brought a lot of energy to that second unit. Has a knack for where the ball is. Really good at getting those offensive boards. Just really good rebounder. Hustle guy, effort guy. Really soft hands around the rim as well. Really good at getting those putbacks and lay-ins. Good with the left hand. Just does all the little things. I think he had a few games where he had like 4 or 5 blocks. Like the guy was just, giving it 110% on every play. And then obviously we just signed Khem Birch there, so I think he'll most likely end up being our starting center. Not saying he's going to get 30 or 35 minutes a game, because I think they're going to want to try and cycle in Freddie Gillespie and Precious Achiuwa, the guy we just picked up from Miami. Obviously you guys remember with Precious that huge block he had in the against the USA basketball team in exhibition games. He blocked Kevin Durant there, just sent him home packing. And Nigeria ended up beating them in that exhibition game as well. So you can see the capabilities of Precious here. I think he's going to be a phenomenal talent for us. He's super young as well, going into his second season in the league. He's in the right program with the Toronto Raptors, being able to develop properly. So I'm super excited, you guys, for the new season here. Really like the way that we're building up our team with a lot of high-quality defensive players. And hustle guys who can switch multiple positions on the defensive end and love sharing the basketball on the offensive end. So I think it's going to be a great season coming up here. I think we'll be able to make a good push to get into the playoffs. Hopefully the boys can be playing in Canada again. It'd be nice to see them back home in Toronto. We'll have to see what happens with that, you guys. Would love to get your guys' opinion on what's happened so far in the Toronto Raptors free agency. What do you think of all the moves we made so far? Do you think the team has gotten better? Do you think the team has gotten worse? Who do you think is going to step up the most with the absence of guys like Kyle Lowry missing? I would love your guys' opinion in the comment section down below, you guys. Once again, always appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and all the videos on my channel. Please go ahead and like this video if you so choose. Subscribe to the channel if you like more sports content like this. And once again, you guys, this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports.